In this video, you're going to be learning how to make a CoWIN tracker using their API from start to finish. Disclaimer, this is not going to book any slots for you in any hospital. This is meant only to track and update a CSV file which later on you can check when your slots are available. So let's begin. So first you're going to create a folder and then you're going to open it with a text editor or an IDE. I'm using VS Code. Feel free to use whatever you want, and you have to have the CoWIN website open, and then after that we're going to create a file called main.py, and then we're going to import some modules. So the first one will be request, and then we're going to import time, and then we're going to import JSON, and then we're going to do from datetime import datetime. So now what we're going to do is we're going to open the developer tools or dev tools in your browser. So we're going to click inspect on the page. You can do Ctrl Shift I, you can click F12, you can click the three dots and find something which says developer tools, and then you can fill this form. I'm going to fill this, and then BBMP, and then search. So before doing that, we can just click this to clear our output here, and you can select XHR, and then we click search, and then we can select the one which is not red or any other color, just plain white. So now if we check in the preview tab, we can see there are a lot of records here. So these all records are the hospitals that you see here. So it may not be in the same order, but they are here. So this is where we're going to get our data from. Okay, so this URL, okay, this is the URL. So now we can just take a note of that, and then we can say URL is equal to this. Okay, and then we're using a get method. So we're going to be using this request library to send and receive data. So we're going to do r is equal to request dot get. This is a get method. So then we're going to do URL. After that, it's going to send a request, and then we can just do print r.text. Okay, so now if we run it, we get all the output which is given here. Okay, so now we can exit this, and that now we can add something to it which will be easier for us. So what we can do is we can do with open data.json dot write as f.write json.dumps r.json, and then indent is equal to 2. Okay, so now after that we can just run this, and it's going to put the output to a JSON file, which is this. Okay, so we can just exit this. Okay, and then this is all the data in a simplified way. Okay, so now we can now make this data easier to read in the console. So we're going to just comment this, and then what we can do is centers, or we can just call data is equal to r.json, and then we're going to take this variable centers, and then what we can do is we can just do for center in data we can just do print center, and then this name, and then we can print the address, and then what this will do is it will go through each element in this list, centers list, which is this all these elements, and it's going to return us or print us this name key and this address key. Okay, and then what we can do is we can just do for session in data, and then sessions, which is this. Okay, we're going to go through each element in this session, and then we can just do print session and then the date and then the available capacity, and then the minimum age limit, and then the vaccine, yeah, that should be good. Okay, so then we can just put a line break so that we are not flooded with data. Print nothing, which will just print a line. Okay, so if we should be able to run it, so if we run it, okay, so we ran into an issue. Yeah, so the problem is here, here we are not supposed to mention data, we are supposed to mention centers. So it was not able to read this session which we mentioned here because we were giving the wrong place to search it for. So if we run now, it should be perfect. Okay, so let's exit here, and then now let's focus on the real thing we came here for. So now what we're going to do is we're going to have a variable which or list which is called known list. Okay, so now what we can do is we can just comment this, we can comment these. Okay, we don't want to print anything now. Okay, so now what we can do is we can just now check. Okay, so it's going to go through each session here, and what we can do is we can check if not session id in known list, then do something. Okay, so what this is going to do is this is just going to check this list. Okay, if this session IDs are everywhere like here, and all, if it exists in this known list or not. So if it doesn't exist, so it's going to write to the CSV file and it's going to put in this known list the session ID, so that later on when it finds the same session slot again, it's going to keep on adding to that list. Okay, and the CSV file. So we don't want that to happen. Okay, so we're just going to do this. So we're going to just do session ID or no known list dot append session ID like that, and then we're going to update the CSV file, which is going to be with open. Let's call this log.csv in writing mode as f.write json f.write, and then in an f string we're going to write our data. So we can write a center name and then us let's put this f string in double quotes, and then center address, and then we can put session date, and then we can put available capacity, and then the age limit, and then this. Okay, so now if we run this, it's just going to add all the log centers into a CSV file. So now we want to even add the date when it was added. Okay, so what we can do is we can just add another variable. So we're going to call this now. Okay, so now what we can do is we can just create this variable now is equal to datetime dot now, and then we're going to format it with strf time, and then we can just do we can put this dm like this, and then comma, and then we can just put percentage hour and then minute like that, and then we can put our date. So what this will do is the date. Okay, so 23rd, month, year, then the hour, the minute, and the day. Okay, so now if we just so if we run this, it's going to write to the CSV file. And one more thing we can do is we can just put a backslash n, so that it goes to the next line every time a new log comes. So now let's just run this, and now we have a log.csv file. So for some reason it's showing only one, so let me see what's wrong. So I did some debugging and I found that the issue was that we are writing in the writing mode. So we have to do in appending mode, because whenever you do anything in the writing mode, it just overwrites the file. So whatever data was there, it'll be erased. So now if we just remove whatever's in there and then run it again, yeah, we have all our data we wanted. Good. So now let's go to this next part of it. So now let's put this in a while loop, so that this runs in a loop, or in other words, all the time. So now what we can do is we can put a time.sleep here, so that the program doesn't crash, because if we don't keep any time.sleep, the program will crash, or you might be blocked by the CoWIN website or other things. Okay, so now it will keep on running with a 10-second delay. So now we have another problem. So if you look here, the date here is 23rd June 2020. So what if this has to be run tomorrow, which might be 24th June? So then it would keep on rendering the 23rd record, because it's in the URL, it's 23rd. So now what we can do is we can just do date is equal to datetime dot now dot srf time, and then we can just do percentage d comma percentage m percentage y, and then it should work. So now if we run it again, with changing obviously the date here to the variable, and in an f string. Okay, so I realized that if you keep this known list in the loop here, it'll no matter what the cost is, it will just keep on adding the data to the CSV file. So I just made sure to keep this outside the loop, and when you run it again, so all the data and run it, this should work as you expect it to. So here, so now nothing will be added to the CSV file unless a new hospital comes online. Anyways, guys, that's it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys enjoyed it, make sure to like this video, comment down any suggestions or any questions you have. I'll be eager to answer them, and subscribe to the channel while you're down there, and let me know what I should make in the future. And again, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.